to do. We're going to start with contemplation. Then we're going to learn to get into oneness. And then we're going to go into a group process to really allow stuff to come to you, the imprint of who you become at the end of time. And it's super cool to see yourself at the end of time because you know everything turns out okay. I mean, you're worried about whatever problems you're worried about. But when you're sitting with yourself at the end of the time, you're just looking back going, oh, yeah, that was fun. I overcame that. I did that. That was an adventure. It's no longer a worry because your perspective shifts. So what I want you to do in a few minutes here is I'm going to ask you to be with your divine. Ask your divine to be with you. Then I want you to welcome in your unconscious mind. Okay? Welcome in your unconscious mind, and then imagine being in 24/7 contact with your sacred higher self. Many people say they book sessions with me because they've seen me on these interviews and they go, wow, I want to do what you're doing. So I want you to imagine that you're already doing this. You're in 24/7 contact. Now, this, for most people, is going to raise some feelings, some negative feeling states, okay? And I want you to just jot them down. This is not journaling. Don't go on a mental trip. Oh my God, so many people think their mind is going to solve all their problems, and then they worry because what solutions they get aren't allowed by their mind. It's not about that anymore. You're not your mind, you're your consciousness. You're going to learn about this when you take the class, and you're going to actually experience what it's like to be an expanded consciousness tonight. So you're going to jot down any negative feelings that arise when you see yourself in 24/7 contact with your higher self. Oh, that's scary. Oh, and put down any beliefs that you associate with it, like, oh, that might not be true. Or how do I know I'm not making stuff up? Oh, I love this. I love this. Tracy's daughter, and I pick on her a little bit. She's given me some grief over the years about what I do. I told her, hey, look, I did this interview and it's gone crazy. And she's like, yeah, but how do you know people? You're not making it up. And I go, I don't. Truth is, I don't. But all I know is people say it helps them, and then they donate to me. I'm like, I'm okay with that. So even I have these doubts. So if I were doing this, I would write down, oh yeah, how do I know I'm not making this up? Or if you have a religious background, where you sit there and say, oh man, this is like, there's all these prohibitions about talking to any spirit that's not the priest. It's like even my relatives, my friends, they're conservative Christians, and they're like, Peter, what do you do? And I tell them, and they look at me like I'm crazy. I go, do you talk to Jesus? They go, yeah. And I go, does he talk to you? And they go, of course. And I go, I do the same thing, except it's more than just Jesus. But there's a prohibition that maybe you're not supposed to, right? So, and then this is crazy, I'm making up. So first of all, you're going to look at your feelings. This is scary. Maybe I don't deserve this. Maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe I'm not good enough. Whatever your feelings are, then you're going to look at your beliefs that go with them. You're just going to draw them down. Okay. Then you're going to ask your unconscious to show you any memories of the first time you had that belief. All right. Now, it could be in a different situation. You're going to just jot down any memories of when you first had that belief. Now, again, don't journal. Be aware and briefly write down the memory and the feeling you had with it. And this is important. Don't overthink it. It either pops in or it doesn't. If it pops in, you jot it down. If it doesn't, you just sit there and enjoy the music for the 5-minute contemplation period, okay? All right? So trust your feelings. If there's a glimmer or a spark, that's what you want to pay attention to. That's your sacred source, your unconscious trying to get in touch with you and tell you, hey, so listen to it, okay? So I would love you all to get a piece of paper or a pen or a pencil, and you're going to spend the time it takes to play this song. You're going to jot down any negative feelings that arise. Again, don't explain them, just note them. You're going to notice any beliefs associated with those things. And then you're going to ask each belief you identify, you're going to welcome it, and then ask your unconscious, show me when this first came to me. And you make it a memory that doesn't seem like it's connected, but, oh, I was 6 and mom did that, or I was 12 and so did this. Okay. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do this for the song. Time it takes to play the song. This is music by Bob Yonker, beautiful friend who has the ability to channel music from angels, and he's written songs that really help motivate people. So go ahead and start to do that during the duration of this song. Great. Just take a moment to finish up your list. It doesn't have to be totally extensive. And even those of you who have a really good connection with your divine, maybe you found some hidden beliefs or stuck fears or doubts or, anything in there. Good. Now, we're going to get into a oneness field. And I'm going to explain to you how this is done. What we're going to do is we're going to do a calling in of spirit and entities to help us. And then we're going to spend about 5 minutes breathing in and out. But it's super important how you breathe in. This is how. First breath is from source, directly from the central spine, through the top of your head, down your spine and your heart. And you feel it, and you light up. And then the second breath is out to everybody in the group. Everybody on this call, everybody watching this video later, everybody in the spirit realm who has joined us. We're all moving into a oneness field. And for the duration of this song, we're going to breathe fully in from source to your heart, then out from your heart to everybody on the group and in the call, including those watching it in the future. and spirit, and then back in from everybody to yourself. I'm already feeling their presence. They're lining up. They're excited to join us. So I'm already feeling it. You're going to do this for 5 minutes so you can start to sync with that energy. After we do the oneness experience, we're going to do a park bench experience. You're going to go visit your park bench. One of my friends in my meditation group, Scott, beautifully just taught me this. I'm like, holy cow. And what it is we all have a place where we meet our sacred selves, okay? That place where we actually talk to our divine. And we're going to make it special. I'm calling it a park bench. It's in a beautiful garden, wherever you want to put it, you can call it, okay? The doorway to yours has never been really defined. So tonight you're going to define it, because what it leads to is inner authority. You, the fractal of God that powers your source essence, your being. Now, those who preach outside authority do their best to break off this point. Yet the entrance and the introduction to what's inside is so simple. Once you conceive of it and you accept it, you're going to be there. Your bench is in a beautiful garden. It's a quiet place where you can go to rest, to stop, to reflect, to rejuvenate. Yours will always be present in a manner acceptable to you. And it will modify and expand and change over time as you get more and more comfortable with the presence of your source being with you in your daily lives. It's always there whenever you relax into it. So it's not just, oh, I must go through this ritual and go to the bench. No, you just call it in the morning when you wake up. You deal with it when you go to the refrigerator in the morning. It's with you always. Now, here's the invocation we're going to use. This is what we're going to reflect on. You don't have to learn this or anything. We're just going to call it out into the field. And then you're going to let yourself see it and imagine it in 3D. Use all your senses to see, feel, taste, touch, and imagine that you already have it. It's already happening. You're not asking for it. You're imagining it taking place, and you power it with gratitude. You power it with love. You're like, oh, thank you. I get to do this. So the elevated emotion with the focus of all your senses is what creates manifestation. That is prayer. That is effective prayer. And when you do it with 100 of us and the whole spirit team, holy guacamole, what's going to happen? So in a place outside of space and time, in the heart of a most wondrous and fantastical garden, I am sitting on a park bench. Next to me on the bench is the being that I will have become and already am at the end of time. We hug, we chat, we joke, we laugh. We cuddle. I ask to have my fields overlaid with an energetic blueprint, a map, to help me easily and gracefully move beyond any resistances I have and return to this place again and again, anytime I wish. So what you're asking for is all that stuff that you just contemplated on your list. You're saying, divine, which is you, divine, take this. This is the allowing part, the opening yourself part. And then your divine is going to respond with a voice deep within saying, and so it is. So don't focus on what's on your list. You've already done your contemplation. Focus that you're with you, divine. And you're cuddling and you're talking and you're laughing and you say, hey, by the way, I got this stuff here that's been kind of blocking me. Can you just help me with it? And then allow it, okay? That's the energetic blueprint you're being given, the map that's being laid into you on how to get there and release all this stuff from here moving forward. Okay, now, I am going to go into gallery view. I am going to unpin myself so that we'll all be in the video when people watch this. And so if you understand what I'm asking you to do, then just give me a little sign, or one of those little reaction icons on the bottom. If you don't understand, put it in the chat right now, and we'll try to deal. It looks like most of you get what we're going to do. Fantastic. All right, let me go back into screen share so I can bring some music up for this. All right. So go ahead and get comfortable, relax in your chair. Start by asking your sacred higher self to be with you right now. Ask your divine, whatever name you call your God, ask it to be with you. God doesn't care what you call it. God cares that you call it. So call it to be with you. Oh, that feels so cool. Now, ask your team to be with you. Any guides, any angels, any ETs, whoever's been with you helping you. Yeah, oh, that makes it a lot stronger. Ask them to be with you. Ask your ancestors to be with you. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Gaia, please be with us. Mother Earth, be blessed that we've been able to walk and live and breathe and be reared by you. Whew. Now we put out an open call to all beings of high frequency in service to love and light, who are aligned with the ascension of Earth and humanity and are willing to be here in this moment with this meditation to help us. We ask you to be here. And those of you who have special connections to angels and ascension, like me with Celestis, Dhamma Bhagavan, with Sekhmet, with the Actorian Council, with Archangel Michael. Just go through the list of all those you're connected with. Tracy, please erect the temple. And now, during the time you hear this music, please breathe in directly from the central sun into your heart, and then out to everybody on the call, watching the video, and in the spirit realm that is with us now. Do that for the next duration of this song. Now, during this next part, you're going to see and imagine with all your senses, feel it, taste it, touch it, you being on your park bench with your divine, you who you are at the end of time, looking back and imprinting you with the blueprint of getting there, and particularly relieving you of anything you identified in your contemplation, any of those stuck feelings or beliefs. Just really feel it and let yourself love yourself into it. In a place outside of space and time, in the heart of a most wondrous and fantastical garden, I am sitting on a park bench. Next to me on the bench is the being that I will have become and already am at the end of time. We hug, we chat, we joke, we laugh, we cuddle. I ask to have my fields overlaid with an energetic blueprint, a map, to help me easily and gracefully move beyond any resistances I have identified and return to this place again anytime I wish. And a voice rises from deep in my interior saying, and so it is. Join me, please, in saying, and so it is. Now just hold that vision for these next 3 songs. Thank you all. This evening is moving quicker than I had anticipated. So I would like to ask 5 or 6 people to share whatever experience they had while meditating. Any visions, any feelings, any messages. So if you would like to be one of those people, could you please hit the little icon below to raise your hand, or you could do that in where it's reactions. All right, let's start with Taylor. So if you could
I think
unmute
it's me,
yourself.
Tyler.
Tyler.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. So I did get quite a few visuals. That actually happened for me last night. I did watch the podcast, and I did that 2 hours before this started. I just wanted to make note of that. So I thought it was very apropos that I would look on your website and this would be in 2 hours. So yeah, I had visuals. They're hard to describe. I did feel like a lot of energy kind of blocked in my above my belly button. I forget which chakra that is. And then I was just trying to work through that and find my heavenly vibe is what I would call it. And just try to kind of enjoy the pain, if you will, to transmute it. There were a couple of thoughts that came to mind, but they were fairly fleeting. And then I recalled that I should I should log those down. So unfortunately, I didn't do that, but that was my experience.
That was beautiful. Thanks, Tyler, for sharing that. That's beautiful. Okay. Oh man, I'm gonna screw your name up. How do you say that? Jyoti?
Yes. Yes, Jyoti. Hi. So I saw a bowl being emptied, like sitting on the side and just falling, things coming out. And they were like pink, nice, like crystals. And then I saw like a light ball falling from the sky, a few of them. I don't know what that means.
Okay, that's why we share these as a group, because all of us are different aspects of God. We all see different things, and when we put it together, then we all get upraised. I know what it means when there's a bowl with balls of light coming into it. That's our planet. Oh, thank you so much.
It's a good feeling. Thank you.
Okay, Casey, could you unmute and please share?
Hi, yeah, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I had some tech issues earlier, so I just wanted to be sure. It was very active. There was a lot happening. The first thing was really sensing the blueprint coming in, and I could see it like the grid, like we would see grid, with like points, intersection points, but lines and stuff like that. And then I just really felt like I was meant to move my body. So almost something like the blueprint and the grid was working on my body, and I had to kind of move to meet it. And my body just kept like sitting up straighter and straighter, and I felt quite light. And one of the like channeling gifts that I've been working with is sound and using my voice, singing, and it just effortlessly just started. Like I didn't usually, there's a little more thought in my mind involved when I do it, and this time it was like, whew, it was just so free. And the different notes and stuff that were coming through. And then just could continuously feel my heart lightening, and just really feeling connected in with all and everything. And just like so much love and sense of peace and lightness.
Beautiful.
Yeah, very grateful.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Irene, could you unmute yourself and share?
So it was very emotional. Lots and lots of scenes. So the first song was more about like my childhood, and I was holding myself as a baby and feeding myself bottle, and then just looking at how cute I was and holding myself and telling myself how loved I was, because when I was as early as I can remember, I don't remember my mom ever hugging me or telling me she loved me or paying any attention to me. She was going to have my brother, and she had a difficult pregnancy, so she had to be in bed rest. And he's 2.5 years younger than I am, so I was about 2. And then she went to the hospital to have him, and she put us, my sister and I, in a convent that was like an orphanage. And I wasn't told, we weren't told why we were orphan, because all the, they had bunk beds and other kids lived there. And so for those 3 days, I thought, like, where's my family? I felt so alone. And then my dad finally picked us up. And I asked my mom to hug me because I was like so happy to see her out of the bedroom. Like, oh my God, this is great. She's finally back. And I just put my arms up when I saw her and I said, carry me, Mom. And she said, I can't. And then she just ignored me and never hugged me. And so that rejection and stuff, I think I always attracted people that were cold like that. I've gotten past that, and I've worked through that. But the first song took me to that time period, and I was caring for myself, and so was my higher self. And so then the second song, I felt more loved, and I was more of a child, and I was being praised for all the things I was doing, and I was able to do all the things I hadn't been able to do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Irene, I just muted you. Can you unmute? I'm sorry. I was getting some feedback and I thought I was muting somebody else. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was growing up, as the songs were progressing. And so then the last song, I was more healed. And, I was crying throughout, letting all that out. And so then I was seeing myself speaking in front of people and doing all the things that I wanted to do, all the artistic things that I wanted to do. And so I saw myself playing the piano and painting and speaking in front of people. So at that point, it was a happier scene. So I was just progressing throughout the whole thing, and then the bench was like a swing, and my higher self was like a light being. It was like the swing was my higher self, just kind of cradling me and rocking me. And it was just like a glowing light.
Oh, thank you for sharing your healing. It sounds marvelous. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Deborah, can you unmute yourself, please?
Hello. That was the most amazing experience for me. When I was doing the breathing, all of a sudden this beautiful golden light came in through me. When I was sitting on the bench, God was sitting next to me in this just brilliant light. And as it came through me and I breathed it in, I breathed it out all over everybody else so I could see the light going all over everybody. And I saw a lot of different colors. I can't even describe how beautiful the colors were. They were pinks and purples and indigos. And I heard a message that I'm going to start seeing auras. I've never seen everybody. I'm like, okay. I felt peaceful and joy, and it took me to when I was a little girl, and I was joyous, and I had sparkly, like I was a sparkly little kid until I wasn't, until 6 or 7 when life kicked in. And I feel like I'm taking myself back. It's I went through your website before this, and I did all the meditations and things, so I might be a little ahead. So this was a little more profound for me, but I saw colors and faces and felt joy and peace and just tranquility. It was amazing.
Beautiful. Thank you. Drop me a line when you start seeing auras. I want to talk to you about it. Thanks. Okay, Sarah, could you please unmute yourself and share?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I actually forgot that I signed up for this, and my little notification in my calendar reminded me, and it was just perfect timing, to say the least. For this, there was a lot. Truly, it was a lot that I felt, and it's hard to explain. But at some point I felt like a heavy compression kind of on my head, and this feeling within me to open up more and stop being afraid, because there's no fear in love and there's no judgment in love. And to open myself up more and stop letting my fear and my ego stop me from these experiences that I have, and these I don't know, it was really, at the very end of it, I was crying, and I felt like those tears were washing my soul and washing away feelings of sadness, shame, and like anger and disappointment in myself for things through my childhood and my younger years and stuff. And by the end of it, I felt like there was like a warm, fuzzy blanket of love around my soul and around my heart and just around my being. And it's truly, it was very beautiful, and it felt very healing. And I just felt like a lightness and within myself, and I felt like I forgave certain parts of myself that I tried to hide, I guess, and I tried to pretend aren't there. And there was a letting go, I guess, that especially towards the end, I just felt this release of buildup of negative energies, just like unneeded and unneeded and unwarranted feelings that I hold against myself, and just a release of that. And when I released it, it felt like I was being wrapped in a warm blanket of love, and I could feel it in my soul and in my heart. And it was, so thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. That's touching. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I am really Diksha stoned. Diksha is a Sanskrit word for blessing. That was how I learned some of these energy transfers as Diksha. And I've been doing these group meditation that we just did variations of it for a decade. And it keeps getting stronger and stronger, but I've never felt it as strong as I felt it tonight. And so I'm really excited that once I fix this stupid Zoom problem and get past the limit of 100 that I paid them for, I will so I really want to get you on the Patreon page. Oh, I want to do this every week with you guys. I want to do this with 1,000 people so we can really, really change the planet. Now, there's a few people on who have been part of my meditation circle, and no pressure, but if any of you care to raise your hand, I will ask you to unmute. I would like you to share because I would like you particularly to address not just what happened tonight, but what's the experience like of doing this on a regular basis? And what's the experience like? Because I know some of you, when I first meditated with you, you said, I got nothing. And then you'd sit there and after a few weeks say, oh, I got a headache. And then you'd sit there after a few weeks and say, oh, wow, I'm starting to see colors. And then after a few weeks, you'd say, wow, I'm getting visions. And that'll happen in a month or two. And the energy is even stronger now than then. But if anybody who's been one of the longtime meditators with me that is on this call would care to just raise your hand and share, I think it would be very helpful for everybody else who's new to this kind of thing. And maybe Tracy, if you want to unmute yourself and just share for a moment, and we'll move on with that.
Oh my God, I'm a total newcomer here.
Oh, thanks, Tracy, but I was meaning the other Tracy, my wife, but thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I know we have other people here. So for me, when our circle we got so connected to each other through doing these breathing processes where we became one, that even though our group initially started like we would take turns and do a prayer for somebody. So if somebody was having issues with their knees, we might pray for them and their knees. And but over time, it was like we couldn't even hold the thought of just this person's needs. It always became like anybody who has issues with their knees, right? And then it became not only people in our circle, but anyone that I connect to gets this same frequency of healing that I've been asking for others in my circle. And then it became more expansive into levels of consciousness. And then it became where if someone in the group had a new skill or ability, you'd watch it start transferring to other people in the circle. And so that's when we started realizing there was something incredibly powerful about doing stuff in a group consciousness. And it doesn't have to be huge. I mean, there's research done, there's a book, The Power of Eight, talking about even 8 people can do amazing changes. But I do believe there's an intense multiplication factor that happens the more people that you have on who are focusing on one thing together. So yeah, I'll just echo what Peter said. I just start thinking about what our Tuesday night meditations may be in our Patreon community when it starts being tons of people on there. I know I'm sure all of you guys too have been invited to do global meditations about things, and it's incredible. But having it a group that does it continually together, I think builds a different kind of momentum than everybody just getting into a call that might happen once every few years. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.